Hi, Sean.
Hi, Jack. How are you?
I'm all right, and you?
Well, it's not dog related, but last night or yesterday evening,
Mm.
do you think there's sometimes a kind of difference between the London you read about in the news or on your phone and the London that you actually live in and see? And sometimes those things,
Often the two don't quite correlate. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yesterday I was in the London that you read about. The London that you read about happened to me.
Did you get mugged?
I got mugged.
No,
Seriously?
Well,
Seann.
no. I got. And is this mugged? I got e-bike from behind, right round,
Yeah.
phone gone, masks
No.
on, off they went, and so I am phoneless.
Oh
What?
no!
It was you never think. You're saying all the things that obviously everyone says every time it happens to them, which is you never think it's going to be you.
Of course, yeah. Oh, that's shocking. What?
Yeah,
Were there one or two of them?
two.
Oh.
My gosh.
Yeah. Just off they went.
And
There you go.
And so, what have you done? Have you had to get a new phone?
Well, I've not had time. You kind of just call you feel so stupid calling the police. Not 999, but 101. And hi, yeah, I've lost my phone. I said to the guy, I said, I've actually got where the phone is. I can see where my phone is on Find My Phone. I can see where they are. And I don't know if this is the kind of thing you do. If anyone's nearby, could you just pop round and get it for me? And he said no.
Yeah.
So there you go, London. Be careful, Londoners.
Because in one of the papers yesterday, I was reading a thing where you put your postcode in, and it gives the clear up rate of crimes, and it's staggeringly low. It's staggeringly low. I think around where I am, and it's not a rough area at all, not known to be rough. It's something like a sort of 7% clear up on crime. Yeah. So Hammersmith, I don't know what that would be. I mean, something similar.
Well, I was actually in Kennington.
Oh, you were in Kennington. Okay, so you weren't in your manor.
They wouldn't do that to me in the bush. They would know.
I slipped into some gang parlance there. But yeah, I put your postcode in, Sarah. It said, "Don't be silly." That's all it said. That's all it said.
He put your postcode in, and his phone vanished. Very odd.
It's where everyone's phones end up.
Is that where mine is now? Bedford.
Oh dearie me, that's I'm generally that's a terrible thing to happen. It's kind of like, in the old days where a long time ago this is, where you could be hanged for stealing someone's tools, like because you're depriving them of making a living. Oh, I'm not saying this was a good thing, but that was the reason. That was the thinking behind it. but nowadays, it's almost as serious a thing as taking someone's tools away from them is their phone, because your whole life is on there, isn't it?
Your whole life is on there, but also your whole mind is on there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have any gags and stuff all stored on your phone, and ideas for stand-up?
Well, do you know what? You say that. Actually, annoyingly, I had done a work in progress in Hastings, and it's gone the way I would have liked it to have gone in most places. And I thought, I'll save that recording, and I'll save that for a day off, and I'll listen to that recording and remember some of the things I said or the intonation. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
How did I say that? All gone. No idea what I said.
Oh, so it's annoying. Idea. Someone could have just randomly been listening to that on your phone. This is very intrusive. So if you live in the Kennington area, can you all check the bins?
Well,
anyway.
Or I'm looking forward to seeing a new double act from South London do their bit on how loud espresso machines are. And how they are nothing like George Clooney makes them out to be in the ads.
Yeah, that's gonna be someone will get nicked for doing that, won't they? They'll do it. They'll do the routine. It'll be like some weird kind of cop show that you've invented that was on my phone originally. Yeah. Oh well.
But you know what, Sean? This did happen to me, didn't it, recently?
But it wasn't the phone snatch, was it? It was the...
It wasn't as bad as yours. It wasn't as dramatic. And it's quite a violation what happened to you.
Yeah.
No, what happened with my phone... Oh, good, I'm glad. It was all saved in the cloud. So everything right up until the minute I had it stolen, it was all still there. So you never know. If you restore your next phone, you might have that recording. You might.
Yeah, that's good advice. Exactly. It could have gone straight in, unless I don't think it stores in the cloud voice memos. Is that what you recorded it on?
Yeah, no, we'll see. But it's still, it's got, obviously we're in a WhatsApp group. It's got all of your racist WhatsApp messages. But now listen. So, how's Dolly? I've got something I want to tell you about Mildred.
Dolly is fine. Thank you very much. We took her for a grooming yesterday, and she was she was really great about it. So lovely. That's a complete sort of turnaround. She's very happy to see Lucy, who does it, and then Lucy just takes her off out the back, and we don't have any of this nonsense with clipping her claws.
Yeah.
And it's really sorted that out, which I'm so pleased about, really. And to be honest, it's not a thing that would have happened had I not had to sort of report to you, both of you, on a regular basis about what wusses me and Jane are with Dolly. It started to sound stupid saying it, that we couldn't let her out of our eyesight. So anyway, we've conquered that, and I think that's partly due to doing "Oh My Dog," which is a good thing. So
that's great.
It's a good thing. It's something maybe that we could reflect on at some in a later episode, perhaps, is how we think that "Oh My Dog," the podcast, has actually affected our relationship with our dogs. And obviously, Sarah, you've actually got a dog.
Yes.
Because of "Oh My Dog."
I went the whole hog because of "Oh My Dog."
Yes. That's great to hear. I just had, and I think this is a safe space. I think, I think our listeners know that it can't always be smooth with a dog. And sometimes you can get yourself into situations that are embarrassing and don't look great on you, the human being. I had an absolutely awful trip to the park with Mildred, where there's a kind of cafe section in this park, and when is that Juniper or Dolly?
It's Juniper.
Is it Juniper?
She's been going for it this morning. Yeah.
What
she thinks there's someone there. I actually have to take her to the front door, open the door, and show her there's no one there.
Right.
And then she calms down for a bit, and then she starts convincing herself there's someone there again. So sorry about that.
Right, no, it's fine. It's so funny. But basically, so I let Mildred out of the gate of this cafe back into the park, and she's so excited. This is awful. I look up, and a father and a young girl are cycling together. Yeah, and Mildred is going straight into her path.
No.
Luckily, she's not. She's not going too quickly anyway, and obviously she brakes. She does really well to brake. She's got a helmet on, but she did collide with Mildred, kind of gently. It wasn't catastrophic, but it did mean that she came off the bike.
Oh no!
And I know, and I just thought, I see the dad, and I just thought, however this man is about to react, you have to absolutely accept his reaction. Because he's going to be emotional.
Yeah.
And your just brain's going, let him punch you. Just let him. Just take it. Shut your eyes. Take it. This is on you. No, she wasn't. You don't have to be on a lead. It's not. I kind of didn't do anything wrong, but you just still feel so responsible and stupid. And luckily the girl was absolutely okay. But then I also, because my concentration was on the girl being okay, I didn't really have the moment to tell Mildred off. By the time everything's calmed down, I can't really tell Mildred off anyway, because she's now not going to know what she did.
Yeah, no.
So the man was actually, I was very fortunate. He was very nice about it, and he said not to worry, and they cycled off. Mm-hmm. And I felt like an idiot, and we carried on the walk. And we did a circle of the park, and we came back, and then there was a young boy.
No, yeah.
And Mildred is approaching the young boy. Mildred's very good with kids. I've never had any problems with Mildred. And normally if I say, I've got a voice that means Mildred, get back, which is Mildred, I go, Mildred. She knows she will always come back.
Yeah.
She's approaching this little boy, I don't know, 3 or 4. And I go, Mildred. She doesn't seem to be fazed by my Mildred. Mildred. No, she's not being phased. And then I spot that the little boy has a sandwich in his hand. Oh God! So then I'm now running towards Mildred, and I see the mum is now panicking and running towards the boy because she doesn't know, Mildred's disposition. She doesn't know that Mildred is a friendly dog and not going to do anything. And we actually talked about this, I think, last week's episode.
Yeah.
The strangers not knowing what your dog's going to be like, and why should they just assume that your dog is a friendly dog? So I'm now like, Mildred, the mum's coming over, she's panicking, the baby's crying, she picks up the baby. Now, Mildred doesn't do anything wrong, but there's still a bit of kind of, there's a bit of turmoil. And,
yeah.
And I'm going, sorry. As I'm saying, sorry, I turn round, and the dad and the girl are cycling past again. I thought, what do I look like?
Yeah. Oh, the worst dog owner in London. Just an absolute idiot.
I know. Just
that is unfortunate.
Awful 10 minutes with Mildred.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's not. To be honest, not entirely Mildred's fault that she got in the way of a bicycle. Even though obviously it's a kid on a bike, you can't sort of say it's the kid's fault either.
No, it wasn't a total accident.
You get Mildred probably's got no, well, not road sense, but path sense in it.
Yes.
On the common where I live, it always gets me that they put signs, so like pedestrians only or cycling only. But these are paths going through the common, and they're just children, dogs running all over the place. Who are these signs for? No one. They're just to make the idiots who put them up feel better about what they're doing for a living. Because no one reads them, no one obeys them. Anyway, that's me on an old man rant.
What's happened is this podcast has turned into a town hall meeting.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. Yes, exactly. And so, yes, but I mean, I did think I need to speak to Simon.
Yes.
I need Simon.
Right. Yeah. Specifically about the bicycle issue, or yeah.
No, not the bicycle issue, but just of late, this kind of, Grace thinks that I need to be more firm with Mildred.
Okay.
After I told her this, I kind of thought, shall I tell Grace this, or maybe I should just keep this to myself? And I thought, no, I'll tell her. And then I got a bit of a telling too.
Yeah. Well, it has to be done, I'm sure. Yeah.
But luckily we have Simon on.
We do. He's going to be with us shortly, so you can ask him all the questions and of what's been going on there. We were talking last week actually about whether you would tell someone that their dog is doing some business. That thing.
We were.
Well, when we took Dolly yesterday. When she came out of the groomers, she decided that it was now time to sort of to do her business, and Jane had her on the lead, and so she very neatly just sort of went up against the wall and did it. And then what happens is that Jane will then walk away, and I'll go and pick it up because it's easier that way. But as Jane walked away, there was a builder working there who had a go at Jane and was just starting to have a go at Jane. And he was going, excuse me. And just as I was picking it up, then he went quiet and just went back into the building where he was working. And I don't know, maybe he thinks that I just go around doing it randomly for other people's dogs. But at least that shut him up. So that was a good thing. Yeah. But it made me wonder if he would have done that to anyone, or whether he's just going to pick on someone who seemed to be on their own, a woman on their own. But
that's the woman on her own. That goes back to something, Sarah, you brought up a while back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That people having basically confronting women on dog walks.
I know.
We've had listeners that's happened to.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We have done. It always gets me that there's this builder who's, wearing a pair of jogging pants that are half down his arse, and he's got his belly hanging out at the bottom of his t-shirt, and he's got the remains of a Ginster's pie spilt down his t-shirt, and all of a sudden he's fussy about a chihuahua leaving like a little tiny bit of poo on the side
pebble.
of it. Yeah, a pebble. Yeah, it's all of a sudden. But anyway,
but it's just unfortunate that not all of our listeners or the women listening have Jack D to save the day.
Well,
you can't be everywhere at once.
No, exactly. So there you are. So I was there on the spot, and he probably never understood why I was there, but it was a good moment to have won that one.
Did you give him a kind of look? Did you give him a kind of go on?
I wasn't aware that this had happened. Jane only later said, "Did you know that he was about to have a go at me when you stepped in and picked it up?" So
because I was going to say, wait for it. You're approaching Jane, right? So you're going to get a mouthful back.
Oh
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that wouldn't have gone. That wouldn't have ended well for him either way. So.
Yeah, where's the scaffolding gone? Up that man. Yes. Well, good. I'm glad you ran off back into the building scared. We got some messages.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
The email. I can't find it. So do you want to start?
Yes. Nice email from Primrose. She says, "Hi all. Such a lovely episode with Charlotte Hawkins. Everything she said on losing a pet resonated with my loss this year. And yes, I turn round and think I've seen my best girl, Rosie, so not ready to replace her yet. However, my son recently got a puppy Labradoodle, Ted, and I'm getting loads of love being Granny P. Just to add, foxes have dens. This is, I think, referring to Mildred's adventure under the shed. Foxes have dens, and yes, they do particularly love being under sheds as they are great diggers. I bet Mildred got the scent, Seann. I lost all my chickens once after Mr. Fox dug under the hen house, so they're not on the love list. Great listening as always." That's from Primrose.
Lovely.
Quite timely, actually. Last night I was kept awake all night by a fox outside the window. It was going through the bins and tore the whole thing apart.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So it was a right mess to clear up this morning. I saw him as well. He was in our bin house, and I was having to tap on the window to make it go away. Sometimes you do these things, and you just feel so old. You just think, why? There's me in my dressing gown. Go away, go on, get out of here.
You're turning into Victor Mildred.
I know. It's pathetic. It is pathetic, but he did make a mess, so yeah.
I don't bloody believe it. It's the fox again.
Oh dear.
Dolly not reacting to the fox? Dolly not want a piece of
the
fox?
She's not going to get into that fight. She's it's not her. She's not bothered.
No.
It's outside, isn't it? I don't care. That's all right.
It's not all dogs. It's not all dogs that want to get at foxes, is it? I mean, Dolly's tiny. If Dolly was in the garden and happened to see a fox,
yes,
what do you think would happen?
Well, foxes are pretty shy, but I wouldn't like to see her, having to confront a fox or a fox confronting her. I think it wouldn't end well for her.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it'd be nice at all. And foxes can attack cats. We know that. That's happened. So they can be very aggressive when they're cornered.
Yes.
But, can't we all?
Jack sending out the message there in case anyone wants to have a go at taking his phone.
Well, considering you've just advertised that someone's free to give you a punch in the face if your dog does something wrong. It's probably just as well to sort of give out a different message. Yeah.
Right, so we've got Simon with us.
We do.
Simon Parry-Moreno is joining us as our dog expert. When was the last time Simon was on? It feels like a long time ago, but we saw him at Goodworth. Yeah, we saw him at Goodworth. Yeah.
So, that's Simon Parry-Moreno.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Moreno. Huh? Hello? Hello, ciao, buongiorno.
Yeah.
Stanno Parry-Moreno. That's all I got.
Well, I had an idea yesterday that if I ever get another dog and it's a male dog, I am going to call it Seann. I am. It'd be good, wouldn't it? And but I'm going to spell it with 3 N's, not just 2, because that's.
Oh my God. You know what would be terrifying? Terrifying in a kind of psychological thriller way is that if you found out that the whole of Oh My Dog, all of it, all the trips we've been on, was all part of a twisted game, a twisted bet I had that I could get you to buy a dog and call it Seann.
Yeah, that would be very good.
And that was the twist at the end.
Yeah.
There's just a board behind you with all the strings to each thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The commitment.
Arrows.
Yeah. I bet there's whole sort of gambling dens where they're all watching it on little screens in China and putting money on the table. It'll be this week he's going to buy one.
John Wick.
Yeah.
You don't know Lucy the groomer, she works for me, she's in on it.
Yeah.
Tell them to go away. Tell them they can't see.
Yeah. They
Tell
must
them
get a male dog. That's what they start planting the idea this week. Anyway.
Right. Okay. Anyway, poor Simon is waiting for us.
He's
for a
coming.
Simon Parry-Moreno. Buongiorno.
I'm going to let him in now.
I don't even think he's remotely Italian. Hello. Hi, Simon.
Ciao.
Simon has joined us. Yeah.
Come stai?
Molto bene.
Good to see you.
Bene.
So I see you've come dressed as a hypnotist this week.
Look into my eyes, Jack.
Again, this is all part of you naming your dog Seann, Jack.
Yeah.
3 M's.
Very good to see you again, Simon.
And you.
Yeah, and so any news from your part of the world with dog-related news? What have you been up to?
So my course has been doing really well. There's been a sort of like branch-off effect that a lot of people have been asking me about, sort of reactive dogs. So I'm going to do a specific like reactive dog course as well.
Wow.
We spoke about it at Goodwoof, about dogs getting each other's spaces and becoming frustrated greeters and things like that. So so I'm going to go specialising a bit more in that.
Is the course available online or is it something? Yeah. So
So it's all on my website.
Right.
It's basically, you can't fail it. It's one of those ones where I just do a comprehension. I'll send you a copy and you can put it to the test.
Let's do that. That's a great idea.
It's just basically just go through, and it's just to make sure you're understanding the modules as you go through before you get the new ones. So.
Yeah, very good. Last week we were talking about Mildred's problem with wheels and issues in the park and stuff. Is there anything that Seann can do? Asking for a friend.
Well, Simon, because I actually left you a voice note, didn't I, on Instagram?
Yes, you
I
did.
direct messaged you because it was kind of in the heat of the moment. She had just gone kind of berserk and I was having a lot of difficulty controlling her. And I just thought, I've got to put a stop to this. And you're the man to go to. You're the go-to man here at Oh My Dog. So are you going to come down one day? Or maybe I can bring Mildred to you when I've got a show up there. And we have a day where you try and get Mildred to stop. The main problem is stop reacting to wheels. Anything with wheels, people unloading trucks, lorries, outside shops. A lot of the time she goes absolutely berserk if someone is unloading a van. So do you have anything, sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's good.
But do you have anything that you have in mind that you think we would do that day?
Yes. So probably better for me to come down to you, to be honest, because it's more the natural habitat of, it's Mildred's territory. It's where she's comfortable.
God.
I mean, I live out in the countryside. It's lovely where I am.
Okay.
So if I come to you, because the triggers that are sort of getting her to react in the way that she's they're most likely going to happen around where you are. We'd be sort of creating a fallacy up here if you came up here and we sort of like tried to pretend that you were meeting these sort of like the triggers that she's experiences.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So what she's going through basically is, so it is a form of reactivity. So like I mentioned before, she's got to a point where she doesn't really quite understand what's happening. And rather than sitting there and processing, going, okay, what is this? What is this actual noise that's going past? Is it bothering me or not? She's going for the path of least resistance and going, right, if I bark and lunge and growl, whatever it is I don't like, 9 times out of 10, it goes away. You know, if it's someone on a scooter going past, they're ignoring Mildred. But to her, she's gone, well, I've barked and growled, and then they've gone away. So that's what I need to do every single time I see one.
Wow,
so she's resorting to that automatic response of bark, 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 bark. Oh, it's gone now. Yeah, great. I managed to get it to go away without actually realizing that it would have gone away anyway if she'd have just sat and just let it go.
Yes. Okay. That's very interesting. So what do you kind of have in mind that we're going to do? Are we going to have to kind of get actors to cycle past? And
I mean, in London, it's not too bad because there are quite a lot of cyclists and scooters and mopeds and things
I
going
know.
fast.
They grab your phone.
Yeah. Maybe we were just warning you about phone snatchers.
Yes, I know. She's been trying to warn me. Watch your phone. Watch your phone. Yes.
Yeah, it's a process of gradual exposure therapy, basically. So we'll go to a space where she'll have some healthy distance between her and whatever it is that's triggering her. If she's calm and relaxed, you reward her. You sort of go, "Yep, this is exactly what we want," and then you progressively get closer, increase the intensity of that trigger over time, and she will eventually get to a point where she can stand right next to him and she won't react.
Fantastic. Reward her with treats, I assume.
Yeah, treats, words of affection, physical touch. Dogs respond to more than just, having a treat shoved in the face. If you give them a stroke, say good girl, good boy, whatever, they tend to respond to that.
So I guess when you're training a dog on a thing like this, do you keep it to quite short sessions? Yeah, so 5 minutes at a time, or...
I'd say you could probably stretch it to about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Basically, if a dog is bored and they're switched off, they're not engaged in what you're doing anyway. So no training session really should be extensive. So like if I'm doing a session with a client, they can go up to 2 hours long, but we'll cover a lot of different things in that 2 hours. We're not just going to spend a solid 2 hours looking at why they're barking at a squirrel, for example. We'll see how they're walking on the lead. We'll see the separation anxiety. We'll go through a range of different things as well.
Okay. So I know at Goodworth you were able to give Sarah some advice on Juniper's socialising with other dogs. Sarah, first of all, how did that go? What did you get?
Simon and I we met up for dinner the night before Goodworth, and I had Juniper, and there were quite a lot of people with dogs at this pub we were having dinner at, and I was concerned that Juniper was reacting to the other dogs, but Simon said some brilliant stuff to me that made me feel so much better. So over to you, Simon. What were you telling me?
Yeah, so basically, not every dog needs to say hello to every single dog it walks past. Us as humans, for some reason, we go, I've got a dog, therefore it needs to say hello to the next dog that comes past. It wouldn't happen in the wild. Dogs very rarely encounter other packs and things like that in the wild. And it's all about controlling personal space. If you're intruding into Juniper's personal space, for example, so how we were sat eating some food on one of these outdoor sort of like pub tables. If a dog ran over, which it did off lead at one point, and got into Juniper's face, of course, Juniper's fully allowed to bark and go back off because she's got her own personal space. Just as much as it would be if it was a human, if you're at a pub and a drunk guy comes staggering over and bumps into your personal space, you're not really going to like it, are you?
No.
And these dogs were drunk, weren't they? So
a bit surly, maybe.
But the other thing you were saying to me was that she was protecting herself and not me. And that was interesting as well. It's not something I'd really thought about.
Yeah. So in a lot of instances where a dog is reactive, say for another dog coming over, or a strange person coming over, they don't feel like who they're with is fully in control of that situation. So, like I was saying with Mildred going for the path of least resistance and just barking and getting things to go away.
Yeah.
A dog that has just someone strange coming over to them, they don't feel safe in that scenario. So either the owner's not advocating for them and stepping in and going, oh, go away, other dog, or whatever. So in that moment, the dog's just self-defense basically, and just going, bark, 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 go away, I'm protecting myself here. So when it comes to sort of advocating for your dog, if you're sat having your lunch and another dog comes running over and you're not comfortable with the dog, even if the dog's friendly and you're not comfortable with that dog coming over, don't be afraid to say, no, back off, or, tell the owners to get their dog away. Because when you are out with your dog in public, you are in charge of your dog. regardless of whether it's 100 yards off lead or whatever. You have to be in control of that dog. It's part of the law, it's a legality. You have to be in control of your dog at all times. And if your dog,
can I just stop you there, Simon? Thank you for that quick edit note for Sarah. If you could just cut out the first 15 minutes of this podcast. Thank you very much.
I think what we've learned from this is that when Mildred is out with Seann, basically what's going on in her head is, I'm with Seann, he's not in control of anything. And therefore, I'm going to have to go nuts at anything that comes near me. That's where we've got to with that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, okay, understood. There's work to be done. I hear you. Yeah. All right. Sure.
There's been a horrible trend going on online, isn't there? This dog pranking videos, and anyone listening, you might not be aware of this, but this is people who have nothing better to do than to creep up behind their dog and pour a bucket of iced water over it and video it and see what their reaction is. And
God.
I mean, it's upsetting to watch, because anyone who has a dog and knows how they are would know just how distressing that must be for a dog. What have your thoughts been on this, Simon? What can we do?
Yeah, so just like we were just saying there, if you're not advocating for your dog, playing a prank on your own dog, especially something as ridiculous as throwing ice water on them and not expecting it, you're just breaking down that trust. And that dog is not going to trust you to do anything for them. It's not going to trust you to keep them safe. It's not going to trust you to provide resources like food and shelter. You just absolutely shattered the trust, because the dog goes, well, if you can do this to me and I'm not expecting it, what are you capable of letting others do to me as well?
Yeah, it's horrific.
I'm a big advocate for playing rough with your dog. Have a wrestle with your dog. Really get into it. Like we were saying about the sneezing to initiate that you're not going to hurt the dog when you're playing and things like that. Great. If the dog's expecting it, I've got nothing wrong with running around a dining table and hiding around the other side and letting Leia come and chase me around and things like that. If it's all in the name of fun and the dog is part of that fun, absolutely no issue. It's just like any sort of form of consent play and things like that. But if you're sneaking up on a dog and you're scaring it, or the one of the worst ones I see at the minute on social media is these people who come home and the dogs rip the bins up, or they've like chewed through a door or whatever. And the person's going, oh, have you seen how guilty my dog's looking? And you see the dog and it's showing all these what we call appeasing behaviors, which is basically a dog that's terrified. Ears down, eyes squinted, like licking its lips, teeth pulled back, looking to a human, it looks guilty, but to the dog, it's actually terrified.
Oh.
And when dogs
do you know what it's terrified of, Simon?
It's terrified of the owner. It's because the owner has at some point previously either yelled at the dog, punished the dog, whatever, and it's gone, oh, the last time they used this tone of voice, I got punished. They were in an
my God.
Not to say that there are some dog owners that still hit the dogs and things like that, and it's you just don't know, but that dog is clearly terrified of the owner.
Right.
If your dog does something, chews through a door, rummages through the bin while you're out and things like that, by the time you've got home, the dog's forgotten what it's done and it's moved on to something else. If you catch a dog doing something, so if you catch, like say Mildred's rummaging through a bin and you go, Mildred, no. Okay, fine.
Mildred's would be on the dinner table, nicking up the crumbs after the after dinner and stuff. She kind of knows not to do that, and then if I come in, she sees me, she jumps down.
Yeah, right. But you've caught her in the act of doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
if a dog's done this while you've been out, you don't know whether it's happened 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 15 minutes ago. When it comes to punishment and rewarding a dog, it's always in the moment. So if your dog sits for you without you asking, cool, you reward it straight away in that moment. If you rewarded it 20 minutes later, it thinks it's getting rewarded for what it's doing at that moment. It's forgotten that it did that sit for you later.
Yes.
And the same with punishment. It has to be in the moment. You catch them doing it, you go, okay, right, no, stop doing that. If you come home and you go, oh my God, what have you done to the house, blah, blah, blah. The dog is terrified of you coming home rather than what it's done. And then it comes into this vicious cycle of every time you go out, the dog's going, oh, great, they're going to shout at me every time they come home now. And then the dog's terrified of the fact that you're coming home. And then it'll probably destroy more. It'll probably, do more misbehaving things at home because it's scared of you coming home.
Wow.
Okay.
Some terrible kind of dog owners out there, aren't there, who are just doing it all wrong. But I can't understand this obsession with wanting to film it just to get more followers and stuff. It's really, truly pathetic.
Yeah, it's social media. People just do anything for likes and clicks.
Yeah,
and we see it in humans where they play pranks on each other, and people just aren't into it. There was one in Manchester not long ago with some lads running around with water pistols, shooting water pistols at people in video, and obviously with like the acid attacks and things like that.
Exactly.
You can't be just throwing liquids at people and videoing it for fun.
Absolutely. I saw a video of a deranged man just telling people what the tea was like in his hotel room. And it just shows you really the impact that social media is having on people.
That's a low blow.
We love tea on tour, Jack.
We do love tea on tour. We all love tea on tour.
Yeah.
I always make sure to like tea on tour.
Well, wait till you see my OnlyFans page. Got some tricks I can do with a tonics wafer, I can tell you. Oh dear. Now I'm wishing I hadn't said that. Anyway.
That's going on social media. You better know.
But there's a nice email here from Alison, who has a Sprocker Ivy. This is for you, Simon. Just hoping someone might be able to offer some advice. I've had my Sprocker from puppy. I did intend to brush her teeth every day, but this gave way to the much easier dental chews. She put on weight, and the vet informed me that the dental chews were equivalent to an extra third of dinner. So I cut out all of those and got my girl back in shape, but didn't brush her teeth again. Of course, after 6 years of not brushing teeth, the dog's breath was bad and my girl had tartar building up. And the vet said I need to start using seaweed powder, which has been successful, and brushing the dog's teeth. Ivy's coming up to 8 now and will not let me brush her teeth. Is it possible to introduce teeth brushing to an adult dog? Tips and tricks, very welcome. Many thanks from Alison and Sprocker Ivy. What do you reckon, Simon?
So when it comes to brushing your dog's teeth, obviously starting the sooner the better. Start as a puppy and they sort of get used to it along the way.
Yeah.
8 is absolutely no age. You can continue, old dogs can learn new tricks. There's no such thing as it being too late to teach them anything. If you want to go down the manual toothbrushing route, I'd start with something like, you can get these like little silicone or like rubber, like finger thimbles that look like toothbrushes.
I know, yeah.
Put a little bit of the make sure it's an enzymatic toothpaste, not just a generic sort of like toothpaste. Fluoride is dangerous to dogs, so don't give them human toothpaste either. But you can get like dog enzymatic toothpaste, liver flavored and all this sort of stuff. Start by letting them taste the toothpaste so they know that it's sort of like a treat sort of thing coming in. Then progress to put it on the thimble and just gently just rubbing it around the teeth. I had a chat with a vet about this not long ago, actually, because Leia had to have a couple of teeth removed. And they were saying that so long as they get the toothpaste in the mouth and like on the inside of the cheeks, they do tend to sort of like rub it around the mouth and lick it around the mouth anyway. You're just not getting the friction that you would for using a toothbrush or something, which is obviously a bit better. If you don't want to teach your dog how to brush its teeth, which isn't an issue, so long as you've got an alternative, which I'm a big fan of, like natural chews. So things like chicken feet, dehydrated chicken feet, chicken necks, sprats. You've seen like these sort of dehydrated sprats and fish that you can get your dogs. Basically, animal bits and bobs are really good for cleaning your dog's teeth. Anything with like cartilage, bone, a little bit of like, sort of like sinew will help as they chew it. It'll help.
Juniper loves that. And in fact, I was getting ones called pizzles.
Yes.
And I didn't know what pizzles were. I only recently found out.
I don't reveal. Please reveal all.
What is a pizzle?
Simon?
Well, some of them, they used to be bull private parts, but nowadays it tends to be beef muscle that's been stretched to sort of like sausage shape.
Okay, so it's like just a very dried bit of meat that they chew on, and that kind of does it for them, cleaning the teeth.
Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, if your dog's putting on weight when you're using chews and things like that, make sure you factor it in with the diet and the sort of calorie intake and stuff like that. But natural chews, as a general rule, are lower calorie, higher in nutrition than things like Dentasticks.
Fantastic.
And yeah. They're just full of grit and stuff to make it abraze these teeth, basically.
Do they smell?
They can do. So just get like a Tupperware tub or something like that. And you should
Pizzles stink.
Pizzles.
Do they?
Pizzles.
Yeah.
And how is Juniper's breath after one of those?
Her breath's not too great, but her teeth are gleaming, really white, lovely.
Okay, well that's amazing then. Dolly has almost no teeth. It has to be said. She's, I know she's got. So there would be no cleaning of them anyway, and she just kind of she makes sort of gum things. If you give her a little treat or something, you see her going, in the corner of her mouth. She just does it without the teeth. I think she's got a couple of teeth at the back there, but that's about it. But with small dogs with tiny teeth, and they are quite vulnerable, are they not, Simon? Do you think? Is that right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Chihuahuas are quite prone to losing the teeth and having teeth. It's just because the mouths are so small.
Yeah.
But also, once the dog's had its teeth removed, the gum does harden up as well. So it's good for gum health as well. Having
Seems
a bit of
to
friction
be,
and things like that. So.
Good stuff.
That's really good. There's a great pet shop in Shepherd's Bush Market, and they sell all those kind of bits and bobs, as you put it. And I will do that this week. I wasn't aware that that's what they were kind of good for. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and it appeals to the natural chewing nature of dogs as well. So if you've got dogs with chewing issues, giving them little bits of animal is really good.
Yes, because that's something that Juniper does. She likes to attack the cushions. So as soon as she does that, I give her one of her chews, and it distracts her from that.
Okay, well there you go. So that's very useful. Any other questions for Simon while we've got him?
We've got one more voice note from Orla.
Oh, yeah.
She's 10 years old, and she's from the Wirral. So I'll play it to you.
Hi guys, love the pod. I was just wondering, my dog Hagrid, who is a 13-year-old Jackapoo, sometimes shakes and can't stop. But we know it's not because he's cold, and it used to only happen on bonfire night because of the fireworks. But now he gets more nervous of lots of sounds around the house. Does anyone have any advice? Bye.
Well done, Orla. Nice question.
Yeah. Great voice note. Thank you.
So what's going on with Hagrid then? You see it with some breeds of dogs. I've seen fox terriers. They can stand and one leg will be really, really shaking. But we'll deal with Hagrid first of all. What do you think's happening with Hagrid?
Yeah, so in this case with Hagrid, how old did she say he was? 13. If he's sort of used to do it on bonfire night, obviously bonfire night, fireworks.
Yeah,
a trembling response from a dog is normally they're scared of something.
Yeah.
Or they've picked something up that they're not too sure of, usually sound-based. I'd say there's probably something that's triggering Hagrid, whether it's a fire alarm in the distance, like a next door neighbour's fire alarm could be running out of battery and beeping every now and then, and you're just not catching it. Or there could be roadworks further down the road and he's picking up the vibrations through that. So I'd try and track down what might be triggering him first, like see if there's a common denominator in like certain times of day or things like that. It could also be because if he is an older dog, he's getting to that point where he is a little bit more stressed and anxious with life just because he's not got the energy to sort of deal with situations as much as he used to do. But I definitely have a look at see what it is triggering him first. If you can find out what's triggering him, you might be able to just sort of sort that out. If it is a neighbour's fire alarm, for example, you could just knock on and go, oh, your fire alarm's running out of battery. But if it's, like a certain sound that he's had a negative association with, again, similar to how we were saying with Mildred having that exposure therapy of getting her used to being near bikes and whatever it is, try and find that noise and try and get him used to a noise. So if it's fireworks, for example, again, find a YouTube video, have it of a firework display, have it on really low volume, make sure that he's comfortable. If he's not showing any trembling or any reactions like that, turn it up slightly, reward him as he's going along and keep him calm. But like I said, you need to find out what that sound is first that's triggering it, and then we should be able to sort that out. And with the small dogs, Jack, like you're saying, Chihuahuas, again, they are quite prone to sort of shaking and things, but it just tends to be because they're so small, any sort of like spike in adrenaline or anything like that just makes their muscles tremble a little bit.
Oh, okay, that's interesting to know. So if Hagrid starts trembling again, what's the best way for Orla to reassure him, did you say?
So you don't want to reward the state of him being scared. No. You don't want to go, oh, poor baby, don't worry about it, and sort of like make too much of a fuss of him. You just want to calmly reassure him, basically. So say if he's in the living room, for example, and all of a sudden he starts trembling, just go sit next to him and just gently, calmly stroke him. Don't make a big scene out of it.
Okay.
Just make sure, the whole advocating for your dog, like I was talking at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
It's that sort of make sure you're there for the dog and just go, look, it's okay. I'm in control of things. You're safe. You're loved. You blah, blah, blah. But you're not going, oh, my poor baby, don't worry. And then, rushing around and panicking and trying to, because then he's just going to panic more because he's like, well, what's going on?
Turning into a melodrama. Yeah,
exactly.
Interesting. Okay, great advice. I hope that helps, Orla. And we'd like to hear back from you if that happens again, see how that works out for you. It's great. Thanks for your voice note. And thank you as well, Simon. Thanks again. It's
so
great to have you on. It's been too long, it feels like. I don't know. Yeah.
And where can our listeners and viewers, we're of course on YouTube, where can they catch you on Instagram? It's Dog Behaviourist.
It's at dognitive.behaviour. So not cognitive, dognitive.behaviour.
Behaviour.
Yeah,
very important.
Right,
Okay.
And then my website is dbtherapy.co.uk.
Okay, great. Okay, well, that's good.
Yes.
And your phone number?
I'll give you that later, Jack. For the OnlyFans link.
Oh, no. Oh, that hit me in the face, didn't it, that one?
Thank you for listening to Oh My Dog. We hope you're enjoying taking a deep dive with us into our love of dogs.
Yes, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel at OMDpod, and please do get in touch by emailing us at hello@omdpod.com, and find us on Instagram at OMDpod. You'll find loads of extra content and videos there, and you can send us your voice notes.
Please don't forget to give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast to. And remember, a dog is for life, not just for podcasts. Jack, what's the OnlyFans handle?
There.
Right.
Tea on your.
Oh, yeah.